What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my DraftKings NBA DFS contenders for Wednesday, December 30th. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to these sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comments section, who are your favorite plays tonight on DraftKings? Rounding out the bottom of my top 10, Dylan Brooks, Bogdan Bogdanovic, DeJounte Murray, Grayson Allen, and my number 6, LUKA Doncic. Who will be the top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. Coming in at number 5, I'm going to Jayson Tatum, small forward, power forward eligibility, 8,600. I got him projected for 45 fantasy points, GPP goal of 53. He hits that about 18% of the time, shows up in the optimal 23% of the time. I'm giving him 35 minutes, 31% usage rate. That's a 26-7 baseline projection. Now, he's like a 1.15 fantasy point per minute guy coming into this season. With Kemba out, I think that bumps up. I think the pace of this game should be relatively high. I think it's a really nice spot for the Celtics in general, so I'm projecting Tatum a little bit higher. That's enough to put him in at my number 5 spot. Next up at number 4, I'm going to DEMAR DEROZAN, small forward, power forward eligibility, which is kind of crazy, but that's neither here nor there. 6,900 price tag, nice. 38 fantasy point projection, goal of 44. He's hitting that 19% of the time. He's showing up in the optimal 25% of the time. I'm giving him 34 minutes. The usage rate looks good, 27. Projected for like 22, 5, and 5. He's a 1.15 fantasy point per minute guy normally. That's exactly where I have him here, which lets me know he's a little bit underpriced relative to where I expect him to play. The pace isn't all that bad, although this isn't like the fastest game in the world against the Lake Show, but I don't mind it for DeRozan. 112 game total for the Spurs. Looks solid enough. It's not a fun matchup, but it is in San Antonio, and the rotation for the Spurs has been pretty tight so far this season, so I'm not expecting anything weird. 34 minutes out of DeRozan, this seems like a really nice price tag. There's not a ton of value out there on DraftKings today, so I actually have my eye on PRITCHARD. $3,400. I got him projected for 20.8 fantasy points. You're looking for about 27 at that salary tier. I'm giving him 24 minutes, 18% usage rate. It's a pretty pedestrian line. 10 points, 2.5 boards, 3.5 assists, a steal. But at that price tag and the minutes that he's playing, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I've got him in as like a 0.87 fantasy point per minute guy, but just given the makeup of the slate, for him to get to 27 fantasy points, I don't think that's all that crazy given the salary and given the role that he has right now. He might take a little bit of hot shooting, maybe an extra shot attempt or two. But if you're trying to load up a little bit more, if you're trying to go a little bit more stars and scrubsy, grab yourself some of the more high dollar guys, the LUKA Doncic's of the world. I think Pritchard helps to unlock that. Memphis is going to be without Ja Morant, so they're not going to be as strong of a team in general. Tyus Jones, not really like a defensive stalwart. So I like the minutes that Pritchard's going to be playing. Grizzlies just a little thin right now, and I think that fits pretty well for Pritchard. This feels like a really nice spot to pay down. I don't see a ton of extra minutes that he can fall into, barring a blowout. But if he continues to maintain this rotation that he is in right now, 24 minutes is enough time for him to hit that GPP goal. 25% of the time, Pritchard is in the optimal lineup, so don't miss out. Next up, number 2, this one's a no-brainer. Power forward eligibility on Kevin Durant, who is preposterously 8,400 tonight. 45 fantasy point projection. The goal in a GPP is 52. That should not be surprising at all if he hits it. 22% of the time, he does that. 28% of the time, he's in the optimal lineup. Giving him 34 minutes, close to 30% usage. 28, 5, and 4 as a baseline projection. If he could pick up some steals or maybe a couple weak side blocks, that'll look outstanding. You're not at all worried about Atlanta's defense. It's going to be largely dreadful for most of the season. I think this is going to be a really up and down game. The pace could be even higher than what I'm expecting. I love this spot. Baseline projection of 1.2 fantasy points per minute, but I expect that to rise as the season goes on. He's just been out for so long, there's a little bit more regression to the mean coming in. Even with that, he still projects as my second best play on DraftKings. He's going to be popular because 8,400 is just a comically poor price tag for Kevin Durant. Load up on him, play him in cash. It looks good. Don't avoid it. Kevin Durant, my number 2 contender. Now, before we get to number one last reminder, hit that thumbs up, guys. It helps me out so much, and I love seeing that number climb. It's the ego. It's my ego. I can't help it. I like to see a ton of likes, so if you can hit that thumbs up, it helps me out so much. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, but follow me on Twitter, @Josh Engleman. That is where I post my updates to my sim results when I get the opportunity. You want to keep your eyes peeled for that. Now, it's time to talk my number one contender. Alrighty, guys, same guy on both sites. Check out the FanDuel video. It should be around here somewhere. Tyler HERRO. Point guard, shooting guard eligibility, 5,400. Projected for 31.5 points. You need 37 in a GPP at that salary. I think he hits that 24% of the time, puts him in the optimal 29% of the time. I'm giving HERRO 33 minutes. 23% usage, 18, 4.5, and 3.5. I'm assuming Jimmy Butler doesn't play. If he does, we're going to walk the usage back a little bit. HERRO will fall a little in these rankings. But for now, I don't see a scenario where I don't play a ton of Tyler HERRO on both sites. You know, it didn't go according to plan for them yesterday. Couldn't have expected Milwaukee to break the record for most threes made. Everyone that played for the Bucks made a three except for Giannis, which is bonkers. Either way, I'm going to HERRO. The role is secure. I expect him to be a little bit more comfortable as this season goes on. He's going to have to do a little bit more work with Jimmy Butler out, that's for sure. But 5,400, he's just a little bit too cheap for Butler being out. He's way too cheap on FanDuel. That one's like totally broken. But even still, on DraftKings, 29% of the time he's in the optimal lineup. That is higher than every other player on this slate. Alrighty, guys, thank you for joining me for the Wednesday edition of my DraftKings NBA Contenders. I will be back again tomorrow morning with another edition of the Contenders. Check out the NBA Strategy Show. I'll be on that with Greg Ehrenberg today, but we're not going anywhere. Another slate tomorrow, another slate on Friday. I can't wait. Good luck tonight, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning.